Hello, my lovely learners. You are welcome to today's lesson. I am Sarah Ewisiwa Cranton, your maths facilitator. I'll be taking you through LCM of numbers. And before that, I want to share the objectives with you. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to use the division table to find the LCM of 3 numbers. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to use the division table to find the LCM, which is the least common multiple of 3 numbers. We did the HCF using the division table, and today we are using the division table to find the LCM of 3 numbers. Before we begin, let's look at the answers to the previous homework. Find the HCF of the following numbers using the division table. That was your assignment, your task that you're supposed to do. So these are the answers. The HCF of 13, 39, and 65 is 13. I hope you had 13. Good. And 6, 72, and 120, their HCF is 6. The HCF of 14, 42, and 56 is 14. Quickly do your corrections. If you're able to do it correctly, thumbs up. If you are not able to do it too, don't worry. Just look at it and then correct yourself. Now, today's lesson. Finding the least common multiples of 3 numbers using the division table. I have some examples over here which I will take you through with the LCM of numbers using the division table. This time, the numbers that we will use to divide all the numbers, the divisors, after everything, we will multiply all the divisors, and then their product becomes the LCM of those numbers. So, just stay tuned and then watch me do it. Now, we have 13, 39, and then 65. We want to find the LCM, the least common multiple of these numbers, 13, 39, and 65. Which number should we use? We have 13, 39, and then 65. Learners, all right, let's write our numbers. 13, 39, and 65. And create our table nicely over here. So we want a number that we can use to divide these numbers. Can we use 13? Yes, we can. 13 goes into 13 just once. Good. 13 goes into 39 3 times. And 13 goes into 65 5 times. Good. We are not done. We have 1, 3, and then 5. We can use 3 because 3 can divide itself. 3 can't divide 1. Let's write it here again. 3 goes into itself once. Now, 3 cannot divide 5, so we repeat the 5 here. We have 1, 1, and then 5. 5 is the only number that can divide itself. So let's write 5. 5 cannot divide 1. So we write them here. 5 goes into itself once. Now we are done. As soon as you get 114, all the numbers, you stop. Now let's look at the divisors. we have 13, 3, and then 5. We will multiply all these numbers, and the product will give us the LCM of 13, 39, and then 65. So let's do it here. Let's do it here. 13 times 3 times 5. And we know 3 times 5 is 15. So let's multiply 3 times 5. 3, 5, 15. Bring our sign and then 13. Let's multiply 13 by 15. 13 times 15 will give us 195. Therefore, the LCM of 13, 39, and 65 is 195. We are done. Unlike the HCF, we only multiplied the start numbers. But this time with the LCM, you multiply all the divisors, then their product becomes the LCM. So LCM of 13, 39, and 65 is 195. Let's look at the second question over here. LCM of 6, 70. Let's draw our table over here with the numbers. We have 6, 72, and then 120. In our table, let's look for a number that can divide the numbers. Can we use 6? 6 goes into itself once. 6 goes into 72 12 times. And 6 into 120 20 times. Now let's use 2. 2 cannot divide 1. Let's write it here. 2 goes into 12 6 times. 2 goes into 20 10 times. We can still use 2. 2 can't divide 1. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 into 10 5 times. This time we have 3 and then 5. They are all prime numbers. So 3 is the only one that can divide itself. 3. 3 cannot divide 1. Let's write 3 into 3, 1. And then we have 5 because 3 cannot divide it. So we can use 5 so that it can divide itself. 5 can't divide this. 5 goes into 5 as 1s. So we are done. As soon as you get 1 1 for each of the numbers, you stop. So we have 1 1 1 over here. Now what is the LCM of 6, 72, and then 120? We have to multiply all these numbers, and the product of these numbers becomes the LCM of 6, 72, and 120. Learners, let's multiply together. So the LCM will be 6 times 2, the 6 times 2, times 2, times 3, times 5. And what is the answer? Let's do it small and see. 2 times 6 will give us 12. Let's bring our sign. And here, 2 times 3 will give us 6. To give us 6, let's bring the 5. So we have 12 times 6 times 5. 12 times 6 will give us 72. This and this will give us 72 times 5. And 72 times 5 will give us 360. Therefore, the LCM of 6, 72, and 120 is 360. I hope you are following. The LCM of 6, 72, and 120 is 360. I have another example here. We want to find the LCM of 20, 30, and 50. 20, 30, and 50. Let's create our table. Let's draw it here. We have 20, 30, and then 50. And we have our table. Nicely drawn here. Let's look for a number that can divide these numbers. Learners, we can use 10. Can't we? Yes, we can. So 10 goes into 20 2 times. 10 into 30, 3 times. And 10 into 50, 5 times. You see that 10 is a star because it was able to divide all the 3 numbers. Good. Now we can use 2 to divide these numbers. We have 2, 3, and then 5. So 2 goes into itself once. 2 cannot divide 3, so let's bring it down. 2 can't divide 5. Let's write a 5 here. Let's use 3. 3 cannot divide 1. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 can't divide 5. Therefore, we write the 5 again. We have 1, 1, and then 5. We can use 5 to divide. 5 cannot divide 1. So let's write them here. 5 goes into itself once. As soon as we get 1, 1 for each of the numbers, we stop. Now the products of the divisors becomes the product of the divisors becomes the LCM of the numbers 20, 30, and then 50. So learners, let's start multiplying. We have 10 times 2 times 3 times 5. We want to multiply all these numbers. 10 times 2 will give us 20. And then 3 times 5 will give us 15. So 20 times 5. Let's multiply 15 times 2 as 30. After that, we bring our 0 for us to get 300. Therefore, the LCM of 20, 30, and 50 is 300. Let's conclude. It is very, very, very necessary. So, the LCM of 20, 30, and 50 is 300. Okay. Learners, I want you to practice this for me. Just try your hands on this. LCM of 14, 42, and then 56. I want you to do it for me right now. You have just a minute to do that, and your time starts now. Okay, let's do it together. First, we draw our table with the numbers on top. 14, 42, and then 56. LCM of 14, 52, and then 56. I hope you had something like this. So let's continue. We can use 14. 14 goes into itself once. 14 can divide 42. So 14 goes into 42 3 times. And it goes into 56 4 times. So the 14 over here is a star. Now we can use 3. 3 cannot divide 1. Learners, let's write it here. 3 goes into itself once. 3 cannot divide 4. Therefore, we write a 4 again. We can use 4. 4 can't divide 1. 4 goes into itself once. As soon as we get here, we stop. Now the product of these numbers outside the table becomes the LCM of 14, 42, and then 56. So let's multiply them. We have 14 times 3 times 4. 14 times 3 will give us 42. And then 42 times 4 will give us 168. 14 times 2, 42 times 4 will give us 168. So 168 becomes the LCM of 14, 42, and then 56. So let's write it here. The LCM of 14, 42, and 56 is 168. I have last example for you. Okay, let's go through what we have done so far. Finding the LCM of numbers using the division table. 20, 30, and 50. You look for numbers or a number that can divide the numbers given. You divide the numbers until you get 1 for each of the numbers given. Like 20, 30, and 50. We used 10. Into 20, we had 2. Into 30, we had 3. 10 into 50, 5. We continued by using 2 to divide it. 2 goes into 2 once. Into 3, it can't be. So we repeated it. Into 5, 2 cannot divide 5. So we have 5 over here. We used 3. 3 can't divide 1, but it can divide itself once. 3 cannot divide 5. We repeated it over here. And again, we had 5. 5 can't divide 1. So we repeated the ones. But it goes into itself once. As soon as you get 1, 1, you stop. And then you multiply the numbers outside the table. The product of these numbers becomes the LCM of the numbers given. So we had 10 times 2 times 3 times 5, which is 300, and the LCM became 300. LCM of 20, 30, and 50 as 300. Learners, just follow the steps and you will get there. Let's look at our assignment for the day. You have a task. Use the division table to find the LCM of these numbers. You have 6. The first one, 6, 72, and 120. I want you to find the LCM of these numbers. And the second one, you have 12, 30, and 40. LCM of 12, 30, and then 40. I hope you have learned something today. Yes, we have learned how to find LCM of numbers, that is 3 numbers, using the division table. You create your table, you write the numbers in the row, you look for a number that can divide the numbers until you get 1, 1 for each of the numbers given. Or when you get 1, 1 for each of the numbers given, you stop and then you multiply all the divisors, and the product becomes the LCM of that given number. Learners, quickly write your task given. You have just 2 questions to answer, this and then this one. Kindly write them down. I believe you have it in your books. Okay, that's good. All right.